Hello, patrons. It's Drew. Uh, Today, I just wanted to present to you a time lapse version of me working on the Silk and Roses piece. I think it came out pretty cute, and I thought it would be fun to walk you through the process a little bit with a voiceover. I sound probably a little more nasally than usual because I am on my confirmed second, possibly third time having COVID. So please forgive the strange quality in my voice. Please accept me for who I am at all times. And also enjoy the video. Thank you. So the first step is going in and sort of elaborating upon the original sketch, which was very, very simple, as you may have seen, and just kind of making it look a little more specific. You'll see I jump back and forth between the original and the new version a lot and flip it to make sure that everything feels good and balanced. And yeah, just sort of, making final decisions on like the rose and the earrings, and I would end up changing the metal pendant into like a rose-shaped one, as you can see. In the inks, which I did in Procreate, I initially did it with a much thicker line, but I think that works better for something that you're going to see from afar, like a sticker or something small. So you will see that this is the piece so nice. I inked it twice because I decided it needed a thinner line to lend itself to being a little bit more detailed, and I think that was the right decision ultimately. I would end up re-inking that rose, which looks super weird here. I think I might have done that in Clip Studio Paint next. But yeah, you can see I also color code some of the elements of my inks to just keep everything separate in my mind. They're also on separate layers, so I can color things properly later. This part is, I think, the most boring part of any piece. It's kind of the moment where I check out a lot and have to come back to, and that is laying down the base, the sort of base layer for every colored element in the background. Initially I was thinking of going with like more pinks and warm hues, but ultimately decided to not lean into pink so much because I do that a lot, and I would go with something a little bit more Grecian, stone columns, blue skies. He's got that beautiful dark skin. The sort of the green and the red and the blue are kind of playing on each other. I think it looks nice. I always envisioned the silk would be very shiny, so I added some airbrushing to the shines to just give it that soft look, and that's something that I would carry into a lot of the shading on this piece. Yeah, I probably need to practice shading and coloring metal more, but for now, that looks good enough. And here I'm laying down the sort of main shading on the character. I actually lately have been preferring laying down a normal layer instead of multiply for my shading, and changing the opacity so that it still affects the base color, but it just sort of evens things out a little more instead of looking so contrasty, and I think it looks a little more natural and a little prettier. So yeah, I think it worked really nicely with this piece. You'll see I'm adding some inks to my foliage here, and I thought I would go with that simpler approach, but ultimately decided later on to do a bit more of a painterly airbrushed shade, which we'll see in a minute here. Just adding some bloom to the moon and the stars, which is nice and pretty. Adding a little base shade to the greenery, but again, it's not quite working yet, so I stepped away from it. I remember getting a little frustrated at this point. Went back to sort of add some airbrushing into the shading on the character and fixing the clouds, and now you'll see here I'm trying to fix these plants which I ultimately think I did a halfway decent job on. I don't really consider myself a great painter, but you know, usually when I paint, it's more of an airbrush style, and I think I'm pretty good at it. And yeah, I think these look all right. So yeah, you'll see that I turned that original shading back on just to add a little extra dimensionality, add some line work to give a little more detail, and just make it all feel a little more special. And you'll see here I'm adding some more detail and extra shading to the background elements, just to, you know, make it all feel a little bit more three-dimensional, a little more illustrated, including adding a little extra gradient to the character shading, adding some bloom lighting, playing with a lot of color filters. I play with a lot of them with every piece I do, and then I usually end up keeping one or two. Adding some sort of underlighting to the character, just to make him feel like he's more part of the environment he's in, and yeah. And just adding that final sort of darker vignette around the whole thing to bring it all together, and there you go. Just have this final piece that's really nice and simple and pretty and isn't complicated, and sometimes that's all you need. I feel pretty good about it. I think it turned out nice, and I hope that you do too. Yeah, please let me know what you think of this video in the comments, and how I can do it even better next time. Thanks for watching.